Good afternoon, Ashok, and thank you very much for being here. We are privileged, and I'm Dhruv, representing upGrad Enterprise, and thank you for this conversation. Just to start this off, Ashok, I wanted to know, what are some of the new things that HCL is doing, especially with the newer generations. And as we know, there are technologies like AI which are becoming very, very dominant, right? So, how are you, as one of the leaders at HCL, thinking about it?
First of all, thanks for giving me this opportunity, Dhruv. I have been with HCL for more than 3 decades now, and more than 1.5 decade into L&D. And interestingly, the question you asked is very relevant because one of the major responsibilities is doing Fresher Cadre Management. And when I say Fresher Cadre Management, we are mainly dealing with Gen Zs, and I think that's where your question is more targeted towards. Now, the thing is, most of our management layer is definitely generation ahead, and as usual, as we find difficult to deal with our kids at home because they are Gen Z, so we are finding the same problem with our middle management to deal with our freshers. That's the first part of the problem. Second part of the problem is this technological advancement like AI. Now, because of AI, a lot of things which we used to teach them, they are available on the click of a button. So, there is no need to basically spend effort and energy in doing that. Rather, you should be make them learn how to do things. So, then what is more important is problem solving, critical thinking, how to learn, how to unlearn. I think those are the things which are becoming more and more important. Just teaching them the same old stuff which was taught to them 10 years back, teaching them Java coding, Python coding, in especially in the IT domain, is not required. Ultimately, it's not a college atmosphere where they are not allowed to copy. Am I right? It's a corporate atmosphere. It's a productivity matters. If you can get something ready-made from the net and use it, please go ahead. As long as it doesn't infringe upon certain copyrights, you can use it. So you should be teaching them on how to do all those things. Am I right? That is where the technical and the technological advancement part comes into the picture.
Very interesting.
And second part on the Gen Z aspect, both the sides, the Gen Zs as well as the management side, I think they need to be handled differently. Management need to be taught on how to handle Gen Zs, and Gen Zs need to be taught on how to behave in a corporate environment. These short few word answers, emojis, without punctuation, without grammar, good on social media, but in corporate world, you need to be a bit more professional and formal, I will say. So we need to teach them all those things. It's a bit hard for them, but I think we need to tell them. Second very important thing is, these Gen Zs are a generation where they think they know everything. So they don't like prescription. If you tell them that तुम्हारे को A, B, C, D करना है काम, they will not like it. They want things more abstract, and they want to be creative. They want to devise things on their own. That is what they want to. They want, frankly speaking, they want choices. Now, what used to happen earlier, especially in our case, in HCL case, or maybe any other IT service case, when you hire freshers, you hire in hordes. You have hired 10,000, 20,000 people. I have 5,000 requirement in Java, 3,000 in Python, 3,000 in C#. Now, I put them into various buckets based on random criteria, and they are supposed to perform. At the end of 2 years, they may or may not like the job and leave it. So now, because I know what is their challenge, I know they need choices, so I am giving them choices. But these choices are sort of pseudo choices. So it is not a choice in the real sense, in the sense that I can't say them that you tell me what you want to learn, because ultimately I have to be responsible for the business outcome. So I have to give them choices which are relevant for my business outcome. So the way we are doing it, it's very interesting. We are going back to the method which is being followed in most of the university admissions, the NEET, the JEE, and all that. So what we have done is, we tell them, okay, well, you're coming here, you are a good guy. I will do your merit profiling based on your various merit records starting from 10th onwards. And there is a merit profiling, you will get a rank. Now I will tell you, these are the 1 to 10 choices available on the technological space where you can participate, and based on the availability within my organization, and they will fill that ranking like they fill in JEE NEET admission, and based on their rank I allocate them. So, I have served two purposes. I have given them a choice, but I have given them a choice which I want. So, it's a win-win for both sides.
Very interesting.
So, that way they will feel, okay, no, I have say in my what I am doing, they love it, Even if they might have got a 6th option or 7th option in their ranking, in their options, but still it was their choice, am I right? They can't say no to it.
Right.
Because they didn't have a rank, so didn't get first or second choice, so they can't blame. So, I think that's an interesting way to handle these Gen Zs.
Got it. So the question that comes to my mind, and very interesting way of looking at Gen Z management, I would say. Do you think, Ashok, the problem today is with the Gen Z, or is it the manager managing the Gen Z?
The second part is manager managing the Gen Z. That's definitely a problem. Yesterday I was visiting in Bangalore. I had a discussion with some of the managers, and they said, "Yeah, these guys don't have a good attitude to work. They don't know how to behave professionally. कहीं भी आके बैठ जाते हैं. When customers come, it looks very awkward. Looks like just they are sitting in the garden. They are not sitting in the office. When I ask them to do work this way, they don't do it. I ask them to stay late, they don't do it. So basically, I think some of these aspects may be genuine, but there are a lot of things which even these middle managers or the managers, they need to learn how to manage Gen Zs. If they think they will comply to their command like the earlier generation, yes, no form, I don't think it's going to work. So we are working on specific curriculums for these managers to train them on how to manage Gen Zs.
Got it. And in terms of Gen Z being the focus here, from a learning aspect perspective, do you see any specific tools or solutions that work well for Gen Zs in the industry? Are you seeing any of that?
So there are plenty of solutions available. Again, as I told you, these kids don't like prescription. You tell them the problem statement and then leave them open. Let them find out the best way to learn. I think that's a better way. Rather than telling them this is the solution, that this is not going to work. So without naming a company, I'll tell you there's the L&D service provider, which is a marketplace for learning content.
Sure.
For the same content, there may be 10 to 12 different courses available from different authors. And like you do ratings on various travel platforms like Make My Trips of the World and the hotels or whatever. So there these courses get rated by users based on their quality.
Right.
So we tell them, these are the topics you need to learn. I provide them access to that particular marketplace from a corporate point of view.
Got it.
Then let them decide which particular course they want to pick up, what pace they want to do it, at what time they want to do it, because it's a mobile learning. So they want flexibility, I'm giving them flexibility. You do it on weekend, you do it night, day, travel time, whatever, whenever you want to do. This is my outcome expected in next 2 weeks. You go and do it.
And
Simple.
since you've been in this industry now and you've seen a generation before the Gen Zs, are you seeing different patterns of consumption also on how they learn?
Absolutely. These guys are much smarter. They are very digital savvy, and I think their ability to hunt for the right stuff is much better than the previous generation. Previous generation, if you would have given them this kind of open-ended requirement, I'm sure they would have failed, because those generations were used to classroom mein baitha ke teach them like a particular school type curriculum.
Correct.
These guys say, boss, I've done enough. I've done 16 years of classroom education. I don't need any more classroom education. You give me experiential learning. So what we do is we give them these learning content to be consumed at their own pace. But during office hours, I give them experiential learning on the same topics. I give them mini projects, capstone projects, where they can learn. I have very sophisticated mentoring platforms where they can go and choose a mentor. So suppose if someone needs a mentor on a Python technology, there are 10 mentors available Python with various star ratings. You can go and choose that particular mentor. So that's the way it works. It is very democratized. It's like it's your choice. If you need a mentor, please go to the platform and get a mentor.
Very interesting. The other thing, and I just want to shift gears a little bit, Ashok, is we've heard HCL becoming a skill-first organization, and I wanted you to sort of talk a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing. Why only HCL? I think today every technical company wants to become a skill-first organization. The ways and means of it may be different, but it is need of the hour, especially when you are dealing with these kind of people who can be much smarter than the previous generation. And if you tell them, you'll need 3 years to go to next level and 6 years to go to next level, it's not going to work. You need to value their proficiency. So that's what we are doing. We are telling them, okay, I will judge your proficiency through a very objective assessment method. And if you on a scale of 1 to 10, if you score say 5 out of 10, you will be tagged as a 5 proficiency level. A guy 2 years senior to you may be tagged at a level 3 proficiency. A guy 1 year junior to you may be tagged at 7 proficiency. So I will take all decisions based on your proficiency level, not based on which college you have come from, what is your seniority, how many number of years you have spent in industry, nothing doing. I will take all decisions whether it is related to career progression, it is related to your learning and development, it is relating to any other aspect of your career. Decisions will be taken based on your proficiency and not just based on your historical backgrounds or number of years or college or school, nothing doing.
And for people who are listening to this, I just want them to understand. So when you say proficiency, can you define, is this self-rated as well as rated by managers?
Absolutely not. Neither self-rated nor rated by manager. Okay. It's a very objective assessment methodology. Got it. They have to give a proper exam, and based on the results of the exam, which are very fine-tuned towards these proficiency levels, the exam will throw out a proficiency level based on that. But it is not a one-time scenario. If they get a say proficiency level of 3 today, they have an option to reattempt it after a certain period of time, come prepared, reattempt it. If you improve your proficiency, you get rated based on that.
And these proficiencies are all the competencies that I as a...
Majority of the competencies which are required for our kind of business.
Got it.
Yeah.
No, that's very, very interesting. And do you see competency mapping, which is on the skill first as well as learning, trying to now go hand in hand? And
absolutely, because when I do a proficiency level assessment for someone, that gives me 2 things. One is what is the proficiency level. Second is also gives a detailed analysis of the skill gaps with respect to the next proficiency level. Now, based on those skill gaps, the learning and development department or the whomsoever is in charge of that can create a very customized learning path for that individual to go to the next level. That's the way it works. So, all L&D decisions now will be based on the outcome of these assessments, not based on your any other parameter.
Got it. And could you offer any top 2 or 3 suggestions for other learning leaders who are listening to this on how they should follow the methodology that you are? Because it seems like this is an ideal case of understanding an individual proficiency and then mapping that skill gap for the learner.
So the thing is, no single solution works for everyone. We have learned this hard way, and I would suggest people to look at their kind of organization, because ours is a very specific IT service company. The solution which is working in the organization may or may not work for a manufacturing organization. I think, but the crux is very clear. Evaluate a person very objectively and define his value based on his proficiency level rather than anything else. And define his upskilling journey based on the outcome of that proficiency level. I think that's the crux. How do you implement, which tools you use, which kind of assessment you use is up to depending on kind of industry you are in.
And do you think the ownership because of this is shifted back to the learner rather than to the learning custodian?
Absolutely, absolutely, because the organization's require ownership is show them the mirror. After that, seeing in the mirror what you want to do is your choice. If you want to get upskilled, you want to do a hard work, get upskilled and go to next level, your choice. If you want to stay in the same level, your choice, Ultimately, no one is going to force you for that. But you will be compensated based on what is your proficiency level.
And how do you see the learners taking on a change like this? Because this seems like a big change.
So it is challenging, especially for people who are into a system for few number of years. For new people, it is easy. For people who are already seasoned into the current system, it is difficult. It is not that easy. So it's a change management. I think you have to be make this change management in a very, very planned manner. Otherwise, this initiative is going to fail. And if you want this to be successful, you have to take all the stakeholders together and make them understand the value of this initiative. It is not an HR-led initiative, it is an employee-led initiative. It's a very, very democratic initiative. Until as employees feel this is useful for them, there will be, see in 80-20 rule, 20% employees will always be there who will not like it. But ultimately you have to take the organization forward, so you have to do it, simple.
No, I agree, and I think it's a great way for large organizations like yourself to actually think about this in a very democratic manner. And I think it's important because the ownership actually lies with the employee at the end of the day, right? And I think that is very, very critical for all of us to think about. But thank you, Ashok. This was great, and I'm sure learning leaders will find a lot of insightful details on this conversation. I wish you all the best for your learning cadre in the future, and thank you for taking out the time.
Thank you so much, Dhruv. I think it was a great opportunity for me to talk to you on these topics, and I hope people will benefit from this.
Thank you.
Thank you.